All right, if you work in telecom, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That feeling, your whole operation is just weighed down by this pile of old, expensive software that, let's be honest, just doesn't work the way you need it to anymore. So today, we're going to dig into the real hidden costs of this tool sprawl and see how a totally new AI-native approach can actually unlock some massive savings just by cleaning up what you've already got.
I mean, this quote just hits the nail on the head, right? You know these tools, you signed the deals 5, 10, even 15 years ago. And look, they made perfect sense back then, but today, they're just this tangled, expensive mess. It wasn't a bad decision at the time, but right now, they are a huge drag on your budget and how efficiently you can actually work.
So let's put a name on this problem. Tool sprawl. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's that crazy patchwork of fault management systems, performance monitors, ticketing tools, all this stuff you've bought over the years. And the key thing is, none of it was ever designed to actually play nicely together. So it's not just that they're underperforming, they are actively eating your budget year after year.
And this is the classic reason these old tools are still hanging around. For years, the cure just seemed way more expensive and painful than the disease. You know, the idea of a massive, multi-year, multi-million-dollar project to rip and replace everything, it just felt completely overwhelming. The risk, the cost, the disruption, it was easier to just do nothing. And so we got stuck in this state of paralysis and the legacy systems just stayed put.
Okay, so let's really get into the weeds here, because the true cost is so much bigger than just the number on the price tag. Here's the kicker. The money you need to fund a modern AI-native solution, it's not new money you have to find, it's budget that is already locked up, trapped, inside all these old contracts and overhead for systems that frankly aren't pulling their weight anymore.
So where's all this money hiding? Well, it's spread out across 5 distinct layers. You've got the ones you'd expect, right? Licenses, maintenance, infrastructure. But the real budget killers, the ones that sneak up on you, are the hidden ones. The nightmare of systems integration, paying a fortune for people with really niche, outdated skills, and maybe the biggest one of all, the huge opportunity cost of just not being able to innovate.
All right, let's take Layer 1, maintenance fees. This is a big one. Every single year, operators are paying something like 18 to 22% of a tool's original price, just in maintenance. Think about that. That's potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars every year for software where you're probably only using a tiny fraction of its features. It's just this constant, massive leak in your budget.
Okay, now this is the cost that I think most companies totally underestimate. Systems integration. Seriously, just think about it for a second. The systems integrators you have on retainer, all the extra project work, the countless hours your own teams spend just trying to make these old platforms talk to each other. We're talking about something that can easily hit millions of dollars a year.
And that brings us to this really powerful idea called the integration tax. It's perfect, right? Because it's this invisible, recurring expense that you just keep paying every single year. A vendor pushes an update, you pay the tax. An API changes, you pay the tax. And it's not a one-time thing. It just keeps compounding, getting bigger and bigger over time.
And this visual just perfectly explains the technical nightmare at the heart of the problem. In the old world, the legacy model, every time you add a new tool, the complexity just explodes. It grows exponentially. It's like building an incredibly fragile spiderweb where every thread has to be manually maintained. The AI native model, it's a total game changer. You connect everything to a central hub, so complexity only grows one by one, linearly. It is just fundamentally simpler, way more stable, and a lot less expensive to manage.
Okay, so enough about the problem. Let's talk about the solution. An AI-native platform isn't just about swapping out one old tool for a new one. No, it's about a complete transformation. It's about taking all those clunky manual processes and turning them into super smooth AI-assisted operations. It's literally like giving your team superpowers.
I mean, just look at what a day in the life of a NOC engineer looks like. Before AI, their entire day is a frustrating scavenger hunt, jumping between 5 different tools, trying to piece together what's going on. But with an AI-native platform, the whole game changes. The right information finds them, procedures pop up instantly, context is added automatically, and the AI handles all the routine alerts, the noise. So your engineers can actually focus on solving the real tough problems.
And you know, all this efficiency, it isn't just about making your team's life less stressful. It pays off in a big way. We call it the operational dividend. Because when you can resolve incidents faster and more accurately, that translates directly into real, hard dollar savings for the entire business.
So where's the biggest opportunity to make a difference? Honestly, this number is just staggering. Up to 80% of network downtime comes from human error. And look, this isn't about pointing fingers and blaming people. Not at all. It's about realizing that the complex, clunky systems we're giving them are pretty much setting them up to fail.
And this quote really drills down into the why. The huge majority of these errors aren't because people are careless. It's because they either can't find the right procedure in the heat of the moment, or the procedure itself is just plain wrong. This is exactly the kind of problem that AI is perfect for solving, making sure the right verified information gets to the right person at the exact second they need it.
So why is this so incredibly critical? Well, according to Gartner, every single minute of network downtime costs, on average, $5,600. Let that sink in. So when you start talking about AI helping you resolve things faster, the business case just becomes a no-brainer. Shaving even a few minutes, never mind hours off an outage, saves an incredible amount of money.
Okay, let's bring this all home and really look at the business case. We're not talking about fuzzy, hypothetical benefits here. We're going to walk through some real, data-driven numbers that show how you can unlock savings that actually compound year after year.
All right, let's start with a super conservative scenario. We're just going to replace one single legacy platform. Now look at these numbers. Right now, that one tool is costing you $875,000 a year. But when you switch, you get to eliminate those maintenance fees, slash the infrastructure costs, and get rid of the expensive SI retainers. You replace all of that with a single subscription, and your annual cost plummets to just $365,000. That's a huge drop.
So what's the bottom line from just that one simple change? Over 3 years, that's a savings of almost $1.5 million. That's real money, real budget that you can now use for things that actually move your business forward. And remember, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
So, what happens if you decide to go big? If you're willing to go for a full-on transformation to an autonomous NOC model, rationalizing the whole shebang, well, the potential savings are just on another level. We are talking about over $22 million in savings over 3 years. It's an absolutely staggering number, and it just shows you the true scale of what's possible here.
And really, that brings us to the final, most important question you have to ask yourself. The entire economic equation for your operations has completely flipped. When you look at all those massive hidden costs we just uncovered, and you see the proven savings of going AI native, you realize the question isn't, can we afford to replace these tools? The real question is, can we honestly afford to keep paying for them? Because right now, the biggest risk isn't making a change. The biggest risk is doing nothing at all.